And then yesterday we had the opportunity to speak with Malik Reneau, the first player that we've spoken to for the upcoming season in regards to Indiana basketball. Malik, of course, a returning player, a sophomore forward from Montverde Academy. But the thing that struck me yesterday in talking to him was how poised and polished he sounded in all of his answers and confident and it was I was like, wow, you can see the growth, you could hear the growth. And in your piece that you had with the Hoosier.com in regards to his expected role as a leader, I could feel that in the interview. I could see it, hear it. I was like, wow, I was impressed. I was impressed with interviews are not always great with these younger guys, just because. I mean, I know I wasn't great doing them or being interviewed then. But man, the poise that he had really it just struck me yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, I don't recall listening to him a lot as a freshman. I mean, obviously, I wasn't covering Indiana, so I wasn't listening to a ton of his media availabilities. But he certainly had a confidence to him yesterday when speaking to the press on Zoom that I thought was good to hear. He spoke a lot about how the coaching staff is kind of pushing him to take on a bigger leadership opportunity and bigger leadership role, and that's kind of what a feature story I wrote about yesterday on our website was kind of all about, and the certain guys leaving. Obviously, Trace Jackson Davis leaving, Race Thompson leaving, Miller Kopp is gone. Those guys leaving has opened up a big opportunity for returners to take a bigger emphasis on leadership and communicating and holding their teammates accountable, because there are 6 new faces and 3 of them are freshmen and the other 3 are transfers. And 2 of the transfers haven't always been the most consistent players in their college careers. So there's certainly a need for players on this Indiana team to hold others accountable and kind of help bring them along. And I think Malik Reneau is kind of one of the players returning for Indiana that's being asked to do those things by IU's coaching staff. And he seems to be taking a willing role at doing those things because he has to, but 2, I think he wants to. And I think that's a really kind of cool development for Malik Reneau in his career, because this is obviously a really big season for him. I mean, he didn't play a ton last season, but a lot of that was because of circumstance, right? Like, he wasn't going to get on the court over Trace Jackson Davis. I don't think he was going to get on the court and take major minutes away from Race Thompson last season because of what Race Thompson gave Indiana for so long and his experience. But now this upcoming season, Malik Reneau has an opportunity to, I think, show more of his game and show more of his skill and his talents. But he also needs to do it more consistently and not foul as much, just to allow himself to be on the floor more as a defender. And then also, maybe expand his game a little bit on the offensive side and find more consistency as a scorer. Help set his teammates up with kick out passes to the perimeter to shooters and things along those lines.
Yeah, and the growth and that I talked about is going to be hugely important, because while Indiana is going to be stacked with talent on the front court, it's all new and a lot of it is young, and that's including having Malik, who's just a sophomore, but obviously he played extraordinarily well in his freshman year. But you're looking at replacing minutes controlled by Trace Jackson Davis for a long time, and that's very comforting when you have that. And now you don't, and there's not one person that's going to fill that role, those minutes, those points, all of that he did. That's going to be probably by committee of sorts. But Malik Reneau is going to be a big, big part of that.
Yeah, no, he's going to be a massive part of that for Indiana this upcoming season. And for a kid who, has talent, like his talent is undeniable. I mean, he was a 5-star recruit coming out of high school. And, that obviously says a lot about the type of player he was. And he had some good flashes last season. He started games when Race Thompson was hurt. And he had some good moments for Indiana. I mean, he averaged about 6 points a game, 3.5, 4 rebounds. And he did all that just in 15 minutes of game a night. Like that's pretty good numbers. Like I said, what kind of held him back a lot last year was the fact that he fouled a lot on the defensive side. And I think part of that, Jim, and I need to go back and watch a lot more of his film from last season, but I think he kind of knew he wasn't going to play a ton of minutes. So he was able to kind of go in there, and if he got beat, he was able to foul someone. If he Like, you know what I mean? Like he could kind of play with his fouls a little bit because he wasn't going to play 25 minutes a game. And if he got beat, he was able to put two hands on someone and say, all right, no, go to the free throw line and make two free throws. I'm just going to give you an easy layup. So his development is going to be huge for Indiana this upcoming season because they're relying on an up transfer and Peyton Sparks, who I am high on. He was really consistent. They're relying on Anthony Walker, someone whose best year in college was as a sophomore, and he comes to Indiana as a COVID year transfer using his last year of eligibility. And then Kalel Ware, who we all know is super talented, but really struggled at Oregon for a lot of the season. I mean, Kalel Ware, if you really look at it, I mean, he was benched for one game by Dana Altman at Oregon. He had another 3-game stretch where he played just 9 minutes over the 3 contests, but he also had moments where he really shined as a defender. He played really well in the PK tournament around Thanksgiving. And that talent is undeniable, but they need Malik Reneau to kind of be a really steadying force, I think, for that front court heading into this upcoming season because of the variables that come naturally with Kalel Ware being a transfer, Peyton Sparks being an up transfer, and Anthony Walker just maybe not being the most talented or the most I don't know how to exactly describe Anthony Walker. I guess maybe the most reliable transfer. Like I don't think they're relying on Anthony Walker to come in and give them double-digit points every night, I guess is what I'm kind of trying to say.
I agree with that 100%. It's a different role for him. He's going to have to play with a little more control. As you pointed out, he was able to play pretty freely last year, even with his fouls, because he wasn't expected to carry that load. Where this year, that's going to be quite different. He's going to have to be and needs to be a little more stealth, I guess is the best thing to say, with that, so he can stay in there, because part of the reason he didn't get to play as much as he could have probably is because of that. But, of course, you expect improvement from him, from whether it's shooting across the board, C.J. Gunn or whomever, to fill these roles. But getting back to Malik, just talked to him about that yesterday. We had the opportunity to speak with him, and like I said, he was the first player to meet with us. And here's what he had to say in regards to improving his defense and getting busy in the gym both.
Definitely my defensive side, being able to defend, like I said, all 5 positions and being able to rebound. And what I learned from Coach Woodson is that our team is going to be a defensive team no matter what. We're going to defend, and we're going to try to hold people under 60. So that's really what we do. So the defense is a big key to our success when we come on to the basketball court.
No doubt that he knows what the plan is. And that's another thing you have to love about anybody. They know what the plan is, and they are set for it. And defense is, going to be the key to this Indiana offense, I guess you should say. But that was a key last year. And as you can see, Mike Woodson is already hanging his hat on getting these guys to understand that it's defense first. And that one is already obviously well into his line of thinking. He's also been getting in the gym, busy in the gym, getting ready for this season. Let's hear more from Malik.
Yeah, so I mean, having those scrimmages or those games where we're playing 15 minutes straight and just working on conditioning and getting out and having no pace, and that definitely helping me out with just conditioning and being able to stand long periods of time without getting breaks and stuff like that, and then having individual workouts every day with my training guy Isaac, and just working on the things that we need to work on. Rim running, we're doing rim running, so we're running to the rim, posting up hard, catch and shoot threes, trail threes, drill pull-up, stuff like that. Trying to mix up all types of games and still working on, my strong suit, posting up too, working on my hooks and stuff like that. So just working on everything every time I step on the court and have an individual workout. I'm trying to touch on everything, and that's pretty much it.
Rim running, baby, rim running. Mike Woodson knows his team's got to be a much better rebounding team, and that's when Malik was referencing there. But he has the horses to do it for certain with the front court he's going to have to be able to throw down there, whether it's Peyton Sparks or Khalil Ware or Mackenzie Mbako or Malik Reneau. But these guys, like I said, they're a lot of youth, so they have to learn.